I am so glad to be invited into your home once again. And once again, we travel to rural Alaska. This time, not so rural though. We travel to Fairbanks and take a look back at the 2004 World Eskimo Indian Olympics. Exotic games and fun times coming up on today's show. I want to thank you for all the emails and letters and phone calls that we receive, and thank you for story ideas. We really do pay attention, and if we're able, we'll travel to your village. Now, the World Eskimo Indian Olympics. And this is exactly what they are. It's an athletic competition where records are made to be broken.
We're in the midst of our 43rd annual World Eskimo Indian Olympic celebration. So far, it's going quite well. We have about 5 Inuk dance groups. We have 1 from the interior, and we would have had more from the interior. However, because of the wildfire scenario, a lot of villages are staying home to protect their villages. And we have a lot of athletes. We've broken 1 world record in the 1-arm reach, and we've tied 1 record in the Alaskan high kick, and we're looking to maybe threaten to break another record for the 2-foot high kick.
As far back as anyone can remember, Native people have gathered in villages for celebrations where they would share songs and dances, perform storytelling, and engage in friendly competition in athletic games. During the gathering, people from different tribes would share news and renew friendships. But it wasn't until the 1960s that these friendly gatherings became the Olympics.
The history of the Olympics started in 1961. In the early or mid to late 50s, a couple pilots got stranded in Point Hope. Bud Hagberg and Frank Whaley, both weaned pilots at the time. They landed successfully, but in order to fix their plane, they had to ship out for a part, which meant that they had to stay in the community of Point Hope for a whole winter. And in the process of staying there, they witnessed the Olympic Games as they are played here today, the 1-foot high kick, the 2-foot high kick, the blanket toss during the Christmas holiday season. And interestingly enough, it's also played in Barrow and Wainwright in the same manner, and that these games go on 24 hours a day. What they liked about it was the fact that some of these games are so unique and test every aspect of the body that they thought it would be a great idea to show them to the rest of the world where they were located, in the hopes that they would be perpetuated, because with the encroachment of Western society, they felt or feared that these games would be lost. And when the first games were held in '61, they just kept on going. And they were first called the World Eskimo Olympics. However, with the large contingent of Athabascans living in the interior and in Fairbanks, the Athabascans said, now wait a second, we play these games too, so we would appreciate it if you included us in your name. And then back in 1969, or in the early 70s, the name was changed to the World Eskimo Indian Olympics. And then in '76, it was incorporated into a nonprofit.
With WEIO, these people, it's like family here. It's like, these are my friends, and they're like my family. I see them here every year, and I think they're more supportive here. And WEIO is supportive too, but WEIO is even more so. People don't, get offended or anything if you try to tell them, give them tips and tell them, you're doing this wrong or you're doing that wrong. They don't get mad or offended or anything.
The idea of cooperation is not new to natives. It should come as no surprise that these athletes cheer each other on and even give advice to their competition, because the original reason for these games was to choose the best members for hunting parties. A strong team means a good chance for a successful hunt, and that means food for the table. So even though the WEIO games are not held to produce a hunting party, that sense of community purpose is preserved, and all the participants appreciate the skills of their competitors.
Yeah, in a half an hour I have a race to run. The Race of the Torch is a 3-mile race. And then later there's other events going on, and there's 22 events throughout WEIO, and then I'll do probably about 15 events.
So you're going to be pretty active.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be probably really sore in a couple days.
The Race of the Torch is a 5K foot race held at the beginning of the WEIO Games. All participants in the Games are invited to compete in this contest of endurance. The ability to travel quickly over long distances by foot is evidence of strong, healthy conditioning. The winners from the men's and women's divisions are allowed to carry the flame to light the official torch of the WEIO. This year's winners were Andrew Marks and Elizabeth Rexford. After the ceremonial start of the WEIO Games, it's time to celebrate the diversity of singing, dancing, and the beautiful clothing brought by each of the participants. Even the babies get into the spirit of this cultural celebration. There is nothing like the traditional music of Alaska's native people.
When you have dance groups with 6 to 10 drummers, and then you get some real young youth out there, you start hearing the cheering going on because, you know, it's true what they say about our heritage. You can't keep anything you don't practice. And as long as the youth continue to sing the songs of their nation, our culture will never die. I heard a wise elder say that when the children stop singing the songs of their nation, that's when the culture really dies. And when you see young kids dancing and singing their songs here, it gives everyone else hope.
Miss WEIO Pageant. This has been a great experience, and I just feel that every young girl should look up to these ladies and want to be Miss WEIO someday in this Indian world. It's an accomplishment, you get a lot of pride, and especially I've gotten a lot of help from the Athabascan community. Okay, everybody got your cameras ready. Miss WEIO 2004 is contestant number 5.
Congratulations to Courtney Moore, Miss WEIO 2004. Now let's get to the other stuff because there is more than one star at the WEIO Games.
Well, I just broke the world record that I've been trying to break for the past 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, or however many years it's been. And it's really exciting for me because, you know, I'm able to kick the height that I kicked in there, you know, every day at home practicing, and every time I make it to a competition, I, you know, just barely miss. So I'm really glad it happened for me today.
Jesse broke not one, but 4 records at the Games. He set new records in the Alaskan high kick, the 1-foot high kick, the one-hand reach, and the kneel jump. His accomplishments earned him the Howard Rock Outstanding Athlete Award for this year's Games.
I feel tired, exhausted, happy, proud, but good, very good.
How high was your final one that you kicked?
72 inches, same thing as I did at state. I haven't been practicing. I've been commercial fishing with my grandpa in Mukluk-eating, John Hanson, and I didn't practice, so I wasn't expecting nothing except to do this for fun and because it's my sport. Hi, Daddy. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody at home. At Mukluk-eating, Cooper Bay, YK Delta, Kuskokwim, Bethel people. Everybody out there, don't give up. There's always hope.
In rural Alaska, we depend upon the rivers and the land for our subsistence. We depend upon our past to guide us into the future. We depend on toyo stove to keep our families warm. They're very efficient over the old type oil stoves that we used to have before.
Rural Energy Enterprises offers a wide variety of heating solutions for your home, like the Toyo Stove Laser 73 and Godan Boreal.
It's so efficient and it keeps our house, you know, nice and cozy. You don't need no electricity, and you can also cook on it. You can pull the top up and then you can cook on it. And the burner is designed so that it's more efficient than the old type oil burners. They're priced well. You save money on heating fuel. It's a big plus in our village.
Rural Energy Enterprises, helping Alaskans save energy since 1987.
Flying in Alaska? Fly Frontier, the official airline of Heartbeat Alaska. Frontier is expanding again. They've added new routes to Nome, Kotzebue, and the surrounding villages. As you can see, Frontier is now really covering Alaska. So the next time you fly, try Frontier. Frontier offers quick, convenient check-in, low fares, and service direct to many of the villages. Frontier Flying Service is the official airline of Heartbeat Alaska. Make it your official airline too.
So, are you inspired? Are you ready to run around the block and get in shape? Are you ready to start kicking and throwing and bouncing and running? I hope so, because these people sure are. One thing that all the competitors in the WEIO games must possess is mental toughness. Many of the games are designed as tests of endurance, where instead of measuring how quickly a person can perform something, they are judged on how long they can sustain it. The four-man carry is an example of such an event. These competitors attempt to carry an incredible amount of weight for the longest possible distance, a test that requires strength and balance, but above all, willpower.
Well, almost all of the games have some specific a reason for or purpose for doing. You got the ear pull, where two opponents sit across from each other and attempt to pull. They have a tug of war with their ears, basically. This is to test an athlete's or a person's endurance to pain and the gift of cartilage that they have on their ear. Who has the toughest ears? You know, granted, when you were out hunting back before the Western civilization came, you couldn't go back to the village just because your ears were cold. You know, when you're out there grocery shopping and with Mother Nature, you know, you got to keep going and endure some harsh things, and you know, face the reality of starvation if you don't succeed in getting your catch. You've got the 1-foot high kick, just to see how high you can kick, jumping off both feet, kicking the ball with 1 foot, and then landing on the foot you kick with. That record has just been shattered, by the way. It's 9 feet 8 inches now. It used to be 9'6". One of these days we'll probably see that at 10 feet. When we went to the Olympics in 1984 in Los Angeles, we were trying to appeal to the World Olympic Committee to consider either the 1-foot high kick or the 2-foot high kick as a world-renowned competitive event. We'll probably revisit that if not this year, maybe within the next 4 years.
Now, let's take a closer look at some of the events.
The one-hand reach, well, you know, when I started out, I was only getting probably not even 2 feet high, and that was 5 years ago. And then the first 2 years, I got maybe like a foot higher, and then the next year maybe a foot higher. And it's just, you know, in this event, unlike the other ones, the only way to train for this actually is to do the event. And, you know, other events you could do like a jump workout, or you'd run a lot, or do different workouts, just like for other sports. But in this one, it requires a lot of balance and concentration. And the athlete has to balance their body on one hand, and have to reach up to touch the ball and come back down all without falling over. And they have to maintain balance before and after the event, and they have to keep their feet and their legs off the ground.
The crowd pleasers you'll see here at the Olympics are the 1-foot and 2-foot high kick, and maybe the Mukluk-eating contest, the dance groups, and of course a crowd favorite is the blanket toss. The blanket toss is actually, rumor would have it that it was a means of tossing somebody high enough into the air to see at long distances as a means of spotting mammals out on open leads of ice. And I talked to my elder from King Island indicated that, well, we like to keep the people in the lower 48 guessing. So it's really a women's game. They were the lightest ones. We tossed them into the air, and we put candy on the blanket and all sorts of treats, and they'd be flying out. But don't let the lower 48ers know that.
You did great.
Some people think that the blanket toss looks dangerous, and they're right. If they were to pull as hard as they could, the jumper would reach well beyond the ceiling of the gymnasium. Luckily, these people really know what they're doing. Still, in the blanket toss, accidents can happen, as Alissa Joseph of Bethel found out when she hurt her foot during warm-ups. She's no beginner to the games either, as she proved earlier when she nearly broke the world record in the 1-foot high kick. This just goes to show that everyone needs to stay focused on the task at hand when participating in these games.
The physics of the blanket toss are quite unique in the sense that when you have a group of pullers really synchronized in effort, they can toss a person as high as 35 feet. The ceiling here at the Big Dipper is 25 feet. We had it measured, and it hasn't been really uncommon to see someone being tossed palm with both hands to the ceiling, one of these tiles up here. We've had on one occasion someone tipped the tile and threatened it almost to come down, crashing on everybody, and it was like, oh, oh. But, no, the physics of the blanket toss has a lot of wisdom and a lot of metaphor built into it, because not only does it stand for cooperation, unity, and trust, it has this symbolism of how Alaska Natives and American Indians, if you will, lived off the land, harness the resources, work together to achieve living in harmony. And for the most part, we're just having a sheer excitement and joy out of tossing someone into the air. I mean, you think about it, it's real simple, but it's real complicated underneath it all. You got to have commitment to pull, you got to work and cooperate with others, and you got to trust that somebody will catch you when you're up there.
Well, I'm here with my youth group for Doug Yates' ministry, Youth Warriors, and we're just a servant team doing whatever needs to be done around WEIO. Well, I've never been on the blanket toss in my life, even though I grew up in Barrow, and my youth pastor just kind of urged me to do it, so I tried with my friend Karis, and it was really fun.
How do you think you did?
I don't know. It felt like I went pretty high, but that probably was just me being scared. But I don't know. I had fun though. I'd like to say hi to my Aka and Barrow and my aunts and my uncles and my cousin Desiree and my friend Payuk and everyone in Bar Island. Hi.
Why do you stare at the mountaintop, Anna?
The mountain tells us the early sign of a storm.
How does the mountain speak?
When you see small clouds at the top, it's saying there will be a storm. Life speaks too. Like our ancestors look for sign in nature, we can look for early sign of a breast cancer.
Call your healthcare provider today for a screening appointment. Early detection can save your life.
In the 1890s, pioneers carved a railway through the rugged mountains between Skagway and the Klondike. More than a century later, the White Pass and Yukon route still makes this legendary run. Along the way, life has gotten better for folks working on the railroad, thanks in part to Primera Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alaska, a health plan that's offered smart choices and quality coverage to the people of Alaska since before it was a state. Primera Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alaska. We're here. We're with you.
Your Alaska State Troopers remind you that if you're transporting alcohol by common carrier into an area that restricts the sale of alcohol, you must clearly label the package with the words alcoholic beverages and attach an itemized list. Failure to do so is called bootlegging, and it's against the law. Anyone with information on bootlegging is asked to call the Alaska State Troopers. Rewards of up to $600 are paid for successful tips. Let's all work together to stop bootlegging in Alaska.
Welcome back. Now, not all of the events at the World Eskimo Indian Olympics require strong legs, good balance, and stamina. Some require years of subsistence practice, which, on second thought, does require strong legs, stamina, and good balance. Not all of the contestants at the games are athletic. Some involve traditional techniques and skills that can only be developed through a lifetime of subsistence. First, there is a salmon cleaning competition where contestants use an ulu to prepare salmon fillets in the shortest possible time. Of course, at the end of the salmon cleaning contest, there's only one winner, but plenty of consolation prizes to fill everyone's freezer. Another featured subsistence skill is the seal skinning competition, where practice and experience truly come into play. You will be amazed at the talented work of these competitors. Finally, we have the Mukluk-eating contest. This one goes fast, so you have to watch closely. Contestants use an ulu to slice the mukluk into bite-sized pieces and eat them as fast as possible. This year's winner was finished in under 21 seconds, but after he won, the participants took their time and enjoyed the fruits of their labor.
I want another pizza. That's good.
The 43rd Annual WEIO, World Eskimo and Indian Olympics, was a huge success, and it couldn't have happened without the help of all the volunteers and the hard workers on the staff. Our unique cultural heritage will always be our most valuable asset. And events like WEIO that encourage tribal relations and showcase our culture will keep our heritage fresh and keep challenging us to improve ourselves. We invite all cultures to watch this show. Join us again next week, won't you? And God bless you as we travel to remote villages, bringing exciting stories right to your living room. We'll see you then.